Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is Tuesday evening. I hope you all are having a fantastic day. I've had a fantastic day. It is the game preview. Everton taking on Watford tomorrow at Vicarage Road away from home. Midweek game and another massively important game for Frank Lampard and Everton. The Toffees were in full force once again down at Finch Farm this afternoon to greet the coach on its way down to London. Considering it was a Tuesday afternoon and a lot of people will have had work and school and other commitments, there was a healthy number of Evertonians, myself included, who made the trip down to Finch Farm to greet the team once again, as we did on Saturday before the game against Leicester. The smoke, the chanting, the singing, it was just an absolutely amazing atmosphere and absolutely amazing to witness again. You've seen the videos of the players, smiling and seemingly happy with it again. Frank Lampard was sat at the coach once again as well, so that was really nice to see. And now it's down to this Everton team and Frank Lampard as the Everton manager to go down to Watford and very much emulate what we did against Leicester City on Sunday. A win tomorrow would be absolutely monumental. I think if we win tomorrow and Leeds lose to Chelsea, which is obviously very possible, albeit Chelsea aren't in the greatest run of form at the moment. They're very much in need of a win, not only to get their form back, but also because, they've got Arsenal and Tottenham chasing them for top four. I do think Chelsea will finish in the top four regardless, but they'll want to get that done and dusted as quick as possible. Leeds aren't in very good form whatsoever. I've been watching a couple of Leeds fans talking about them, and they've got absolutely no confidence going into this one tomorrow. So if Everton are to beat Watford tomorrow and Leeds are to lose to Chelsea, which again is an outcome that is not beyond the realms of possibility, then I believe we would only have to match Leeds' result at the weekend in order to secure safety. So if Leeds are to lose, then I think we'd be again and we're to beat Brentford, which, given it's at Goodison Park, Brentford have got absolutely nothing to play for, and we can hope and only assume that the atmosphere will be similar to what it was against Chelsea with the greeting of the coach, etc. Then it just puts into context how big of a game of football this is tomorrow, and how big of a win this could be. A win tomorrow could really sort of extend the gap, and even if Leeds are to win, it still gives us a healthy advantage, especially over Burnley, who don't play until the weekend. But if Leeds are to lose and we get the 3 points tomorrow, then it's a massive step closer to survival. It's still not absolutely mathematically done, and I won't sit here and say yeah, we're sound or we'll survive or we'll be okay until it is mathematically done, because this season has just been far too hectic to make any of those sort of preempted assumptions. But as I said, a win tomorrow would be a huge step towards safety. And a win tomorrow is a result that I think a lot of Evertonians go into this game sort of expecting, and that sounds strange really, considering we've only won 2 games away from home all season, and one of them was literally less than a week ago against Leicester. But the performance against Leicester was fantastic. I thought Frank Lampard managed the game really well. Thought the players turned up, they performed, they didn't let their heads drop when we went when Leicester equalised. We got straight back into it, scored the second, and then executed the perfect game plan really in still getting at them and still continuing to create chances, but also being defensively very resolute and defensively very strong and not allowing them to break us down. Yes, they had a couple of half chances here and there, but obviously that's when Jordan Pickford was called into action. And I think it's fair to say that the game tomorrow against Watford will be I don't want to say less of a test than Leicester, but it's evident that Leicester are a better side than Watford, and they've got a better quality of player than Watford. Watford have got a ridiculous amount of injuries going into this game, which I found out before. They've got no Ismail Sarr, no Emmanuel Dennis, no Josh King, no Firmino, no Kuka, no Ford, no Cleverley, no Nkulu, Luza, Cucho Hernandez. All of those players are out with injury. I think they've got 8 first team squad members out with injury, and I was looking at a couple of Watford Twitter pages, and they were putting up what predicted lineups they could put out tomorrow, and barring about 2 or 3 players, I didn't recognise any of them. Now obviously that doesn't automatically mean that we're going to turn up and win this game, and it's absolutely important that Frank Lampard and these Everton players understand that, even if it is a severely weakened Watford team, and even if if it is a Watford team that hasn't had much game time this season, it doesn't mean that we're guaranteed the win. Far too often have this Everton team turned up in games, not only this season but in seasons prior, but specifically this season, where we've almost had this air of arrogance to us, and in fact it's only been the last few weeks or so when that air of arrogance has almost been knocked out of this team, and this team has realised, actually, do you know what, we're in deep shit here. We need to start digging deep, working hard, and understanding that we can't just turn up and beat a team because we've got better quality of players than them. We've got to work hard, we've got to dig deep, we've got to put out a solid game plan. And it's only in the last month or so, 2 months, that I think we've seen these players sort of understand that, and it can't revert back to the typical, we'll be sound today because these have got 8 players out and they're already relegated anyway. It can't be that. These Everton players and Frank Lampard have got to treat this as if it's a full strength Watford team, and as if they're a full strength Watford team that are still fighting for survival. We've got to go out there and ultimately give absolutely everything tomorrow. And as I said before the game against Leicester, I'll say it again before this game because it applies again. I am not willing to sit here and say that this Watford team will want this more than this Everton team do, because this Watford team have got nothing to play for. They're already relegated. They're 19th in the Premier League, only won 6 games this season, one of them obviously being quite a significant win at Goodison Park. Drew 4, lost 22 points. They're relegated, they're gone. That was confirmed at the weekend, and that doesn't always mean that a team will turn up and roll over. It doesn't always mean a team, mean that a team will turn up and give in or accept defeat or not be interested or not seem bothered. In fact, typically it goes the other way. We've seen teams before previously, and I remember Bournemouth doing it a couple of years ago, and I remember Fulham doing it when we were managed by Marco Silva. Teams that when they are in a relegation battle they really struggle to get any sort of form. They struggle to show any sort of quality, and people attribute it just to they're not very good. They haven't got very good players, and they're not a very good team. And whilst that is probably the case for Watford, without being too disrespectful, there's also a mass amount of pressure that goes onto players when they're in a relegation battle. A massive weight that goes onto the shoulders, and we've seen in seasons prior with various different teams, and I expect this to be the same for Watford tomorrow. Is that once that relegation battle is over, and even though the worst outcome has happened to Watford in the sense that they've been relegated, that stress and that pressure and that weight on their shoulder is done now. They're relegated. They can't do anything about that. No matter if they win every game between now and the end of the season, they'll still be playing Championship football next season. So that weight and that pressure is automatically being lifted, and typically that means that the players play with a bit more of a freedom. They play with a bit more of an enjoyment. They play with a bit more of sort of a we can go out and we can express ourselves in a different way, because there is no pressure of, oh my god, we've got to get a point out of this game, or oh my god, we've got to win this game. It's more just going out there and enjoying football, and often teams and players perform better when they've got that sense of mind. And as I said, we've seen that in previous years, and I actually do expect that to be the case for Watford tomorrow. Adding that to the fact that there'll be a lot of players in this Watford team that have had little to no Premier League game time this season, and that will be wanting to make an impression. Will at the end of the day, we'll be wanting to show other teams and other managers and other people around the Premier League that they're good enough to stay within the Premier League, either to look for a move or to show Watford that they're good enough to be competing, in the first team. When you likes of your Ismail Sarr and Emmanuel Dennis and Josh King and those are fit, these players that will play tomorrow, whoever it may be, will be going out there, with a point to prove, with a chip on their shoulder. They'll have a massive chip on their shoulder. They haven't been able to get into a team that have been fighting relegation, so they'll be thinking, right, this is my chance. I need to prove myself. I need to go out there and give absolutely everything. So you add that to the fact that they're playing with absolutely no pressure and absolutely no weight on their shoulder whatsoever, and I expect a lot of people to be surprised by Watford tomorrow. And that's not me saying I think they'll beat us, or that's not me saying it'll be this is going to be one of the toughest games of the season. This is just me saying I don't think it will be as easy as Everton turning up and rolling over a team that have already been relegated with 8 players out injured, because when is it ever that easy for the start? But it's up to Everton to, as I said, to understand that, and it's up to Frank Lampard to understand that. Firstly, these have already gone down, so that weight of that pressure won't be there anymore. And I think Frank Lampard alluded to this a little bit in his pre-game press conference today, which is good. And secondly, a lot of the players that'll be on that pitch for Watford tomorrow will be players that'll be wanting to prove a point and wanting to sort of make a name for themselves, if not for a move away in the summer. But, if not for that, then maybe for the first team spot in the Watford team. But, ultimately, it doesn't really matter what Watford turn up. Doesn't really matter if Watford turn up and they surprise a lot of people in an excellence, or they turn up and they play as they've done for the last 4 or 5 weeks or so, and they're just absolutely dreadful. There's a little bit of... I think there's a little bit of animosity at the moment at that football club. I think Ben Foster said some comments which again were to suggest something. Lampard was asked about that today, and he sort of just stayed away from it. Obviously, you had a lot of Watford fans unhappy with Roy Hodgson after their defeat to Crystal Palace. I think Roy Hodgson went over and smiled at a couple of Palace players. It was pictured and obviously put on social media, and that was taken to heart by Watford fans. I think he said something like, I think he clapped every Palace fan and said something like the Watford fans were too far away, which obviously is an absolute nonsense and not what you want your manager to be saying when you've just been relegated. So although they've officially been relegated, there seems to be other issues at that football club as well, and it's up to this Everton team to go and capitalise on that. But as I said, it doesn't really matter what Watford team turns up. Doesn't really matter, how they set up, or whether their players are playing with confidence, or whether their players are playing with, no pressure or whatever. It's about which Everton team turn up, and it's about this Everton team and Frank Lampard setting these players up tomorrow to be compact, to console the game. I think it'd be much more different than the one against Leicester, because I think Everton will be expected to control the ball. I think Everton will be expected to control the possession. So it'll be interesting to see how how that works out. I will be down at Vicarage Road tomorrow, so I'll be witnessing it firsthand, which will be fun. Should be interesting. I'm hoping for a similar result and performance to the one against Leicester, because if it is, I will be going straight to town when I get home from Vicarage Road, and I probably won't be coming home from town until Sunday night when I've got to go back to work on Monday. So again, it's ultimately on Everton. It's about which Everton team turn up. It's about Frank Lampard understanding that this isn't going to be one of those games, I don't think, where we can just go, let's go out and put them to the sword, or let's go out and be a little bit arrogant or be a little bit confident. There's no room for that. There's no time for that. This is, as I said at the start of the live stream, this is such an important game of football for Everton. If we win this, I don't want to say we'll be safe or this, that, but if we win this game tomorrow and Leeds are to lose, then I think a lot of Evertonians will be confident that we'll be okay. We as I said, we'll only need to match Leeds' result at the weekend, and I think we'll win at the weekend anyway, to be perfectly honest with you. So that's how big 3 points could be tomorrow. Losing this game would be disastrous, because it would almost reset that confidence and that bit of form that we've picked up over the last couple of games. But a win would be monumental, and for me, Lampard has got to set his team up to be compact. Even if it isn't great to watch, even if it is difficult, even if at times we're sitting in the stands going, just go for this. These aren't very good. Just get at them. Just go and have a bit more confidence, etc. Frank Lampard has got to be very, very careful that we do what we need to do to win this game. We win it and then we get out. Because we've seen firsthand as Evertonians numerous times that when this team seem a little bit too arrogant or a little bit too confident or cocky, it goes completely the other way. Watford have been awful this season, absolutely awful, and they put 5 past us at Goodison Park, and we were winning 2-1 with 10 minutes to go. So it's again, there's no easy game in the Premier League, and I know that's a cliche, but it's true. And there's certainly no easy game when you're in a relegation battle, and this one needs to be treated exactly like Leicester was and exactly like Chelsea was. Even though we're playing a team with 10 first team injuries and a team that have already been relegated, this still needs to be treated as important and as difficult as a game as those. I'm sure the players will be in good spirits, not only off the back of the last couple of results, but also obviously the fans, turning up at Finch Farm again. We were down at Finch Farm today, myself, Matty, Ped, Baz, Paul, Cat, Jamie, everybody was down there, and it was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic to see, and again, hopefully the players can put in a performance that will make the Savile and Toffees proud tomorrow. I'm sure that the atmosphere will be as good, if not better, than it was against Leicester, because ultimately that's what we've got to give. And we've got to go out there and understand that this isn't done. Okay, we've took a massive step closer to being safe with the last 2 wins, but this is the biggest step for me. The win against Chelsea was massively important. The win on Sunday was gigantic. This and a win tomorrow could be the biggest step we take towards that survival point. That could be the point where Leeds and Burnley sort of look and go, right, they're all right now, so it's between us. Whereas if we lose tomorrow, all of a sudden, or we don't win, all of a sudden Burnley and Leeds are looking and going, oh, do you know what? These could still be in it here. So for me, again, it's got to be another 3 points. It's got to be another 3 points. And Frank Lampard has got to set his team up carefully and make sure the game plan isn't too gung-ho and is just, go out there, be compact. Don't allow any silly opportunities. Don't allow any silly chances like we did against Leicester. Their goal come from a ridiculous, defensive mishap, which obviously led to the goal. We can't allow that to happen tomorrow, even though this Watford team will be full of players that might not have necessarily had a lot of Premier League experience. They're still professional footballers who train every single day, and if they're given chances like we give to Pats and Daka on Sunday, I'm sure they'll be able to take them. So we can't afford to do that. We need to create chances, we need to take those chances, and we need to be, as I said, defensively resolute. And ultimately, if it means it's a bit of a difficult watch, if it means our hearts in our mouths for most of the game, or we're sitting there on our hands, or we're sort of panicking, and if that's what we've got to do to win the game, then that's what we've got to do to win the game. What we don't want to do is go gung ho, them get a goal on the break, get a bit of confidence, and our players think, oh shit, what are we going to do now? They've got to keep their heads, they've got to remain calm, and we've got to go out there and win this game, because this would be a massive win. Also, for a slightly selfish point, I've been to Leeds, Wolves, West Ham, Tottenham. Where else have I been this season? I've been somewhere else, but I can't remember. And we've not won a single one of them. I'm jealous of those Evertonians that were at the King Power on Sunday, because it looked amazing, and I want to experience that. But yeah, again, this is absolutely massive. You look at Watford's recent results. Obviously, they lost 1-0 to Crystal Palace last weekend. Before that, they lost 2-1 to Burnley. That was at Vicarage Road last time they played at Vicarage Road. They lost 5-1 to City away before that, 2-1 to Brentford at Vicarage Road before that, and 3-0 to Leeds at Vicarage Road before that as well. So all of the teams that are in and around us, i.e. Burnley and Leeds, have beaten Watford at Vicarage Road in recent weeks. So let's hope that Everton are the latest of that. And, as I said, although they've got nothing to play for, and although they're already down, and although, maybe somebody that isn't really too clued up on football would go, well, they're not going to be arsed, are they? They've got nothing to play for, they're already down. That's not how it works. I've seen Bournemouth beat Everton at Goodison when they've been down, and we've had something to fight for, and you're sort of scratching your head thinking, what's going on here? I've seen Fulham beat Everton away from home when they'd already been relegated, and they'd lost about 73 games on the bounce. And yeah, we had European football to fight for. We turned up with a cocky, arrogant attitude of, we'll be all right here. These are shite. These have already gone down. We'll wipe the floor with these. And they beat us. And ultimately, we didn't get Europe that season. Not just because of that, but that was a game that really cracked the momentum for Marco Silva. So it's important that doesn't happen again, because we're not in a fight for Europe now. It's not a case of if we don't get Europe, it's not the end of the world. It's a case of if we lose tomorrow and then lose our confidence and drop again, we're still very much in a battle. Whereas if we win tomorrow, it's a huge leap towards safety. So it will be tough. I expect it to be tough. The players have got to be confident. The players have got to be positive. I'm sure they will be after the last 2 results. But as I said, Frank Lampard has got to be able to, ensure that there's that fine line between players going into a game thinking these are shit, we'll wipe the floor with these, and players thinking, no, we're confident because we've had a couple of wins, but we know what we need to do. And yeah, as I said, it's difficult, this one, because on the outs, looking into this game, you think, well, Watford have been relegated. They've got 10 first team players out. They haven't won a home game in 12 games, I don't think. they're in really bad form at the moment. We're coming off the back of 2 on the bounce. Confidence is oozing. Really good results on Sunday. Everything is set up there for us to sit here and feel like, yeah, we'll win this game tomorrow comfortably. But then you remind yourself, actually, do you know what? We've only won 2 away games this season. And one of them was on Sunday, and when we played Watford at Goodison, we lost to them, and we've actually been awful away from home this season as well. So I can't sit here and just go, yeah, we'll batter these tomorrow. Do I think we'll win? I hope so, and I think we should be winning this game. That's what I would say. We absolutely should be winning this game. As I said, I'm not willing to sit here and accept that these Watford players will want it more than this Everton team, because they simply have nothing to play for, even though they'll be playing with, weight off of their shoulder and no pressure. Regardless of that, they've still got nothing to play for. So there's no way in this world that this Watford team can want it more than this Everton team. And if Everton do want it more, then I think we'll be okay. I think we'll win it. I think if we battle, if we fight, if we show that we want it more, if we show that it means more to us, then I think we'll be okay. And as I said, those travelling toffees, myself included, need to make an absolute racket tomorrow. An absolute racket. It needs to be, if not the same as Leicester, better than Leicester. Even though the Leicester game was obviously, we were against a more difficult team. We need to be as noisy tomorrow, and I'm sure the away fans will. I'm sure everybody will be trying to get in the stadium as early as possible, getting behind the players during the warm-up, singing and chanting and screaming the Everton tunes during the game as well. I'm sure the atmosphere will be absolutely booming, because there is just a bit of a feel-good factor around the football club at the moment. As I said, it was great again outside the Finch Farm today, as it was on Saturday, and we need to ride this out. We need to continue to ride this out, because if we ride it through tomorrow and we go and get a big win, and then we ride it again on Sunday, we could go to Goodison on Sunday and get a win that means that guarantees survival. It's not guaranteed that we do that. There's still a long way to go, but we could do that, and then Sunday can be a little bit of a a bit of a relief, a bit of a party, and then we've got the final 2 games of the season, which we go into sort of of the calmness and the relief that it's not going down to the wire for us, but that's where you've got to put the hard work in, and the hard work was last Sunday against Chelsea, the Leicester game, the Sunday before against Chelsea, the Leicester game last Sunday, and this one tomorrow, and then Sunday against Brentford as well. And hopefully we can continue this form. But as I said, for me, I don't expect 3 points tomorrow, because this is Everton we're talking about, and I still, I'm not going to sit here and say we've won 1 away game, so we're amazing away from home. But I think the way things are going at the moment, we should get 3 points tomorrow. We absolutely should, and what a massive 3 points that would be. Anyway, let's get into some of the live comments before we get into my predicted starting 11. Then William has donated £2 to the live stream. Thank you very much, William. If you are enjoying, by the way, please hit that like button. It does only take a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Eugene says Everton linked with Reyes, who clearly quits West Brom amid Goodison speculation. News to me, mate. Stevie Lamb says, alright, young Cam, see you tomorrow. Alright, Stevie, see you tomorrow, my mate, bright and early. Smokey Pot says, yes, Lid, what's happening, my mate? Jason says, hi, Cam, up the top. He says, right, Jason. Nugent says, I think Everton will have a clear out this summer. So do I. William says, is Donny back or still out? I don't think Frank Lampard mentioned Donny van der Beek in his pre-game press conference today. I would assume still out, because I think had it have been mentioned, it would have been all over Twitter and social media and stuff, and we'd have found out. But so I assume he's still out. In fact, you know what? I would be massively surprised if Donny van der Beek plays for Everton Football Club again. He might come back for the last home game of the season to do the walk of honour and maybe have a little bit of an appreciation for the fans. But I would be surprised if we see Donny van der Beek back before that game against Crystal Palace. Tazil says, Cam, was that you today outside the ground seeing off the team? It was, mate, it was. I think I was on the official Everton video. I've had a couple of people tweet me saying, is this you? It was. I went straight from work, so I had my work gear on. I had a big coat on. I was absolutely sweating, but it was boss. I was never going to miss it. Jason says, heard on another channel, DCL isn't playing as the club don't want to get him injured with selling him in mind. Not sure if that's true or not. I doubt it. I think Frank Lampard is just very much sort of... happy with the team at the moment, comfortable with the team, trusting in the team. And did anybody have a problem that Dominic Calvert-Lewin didn't start the other day? I didn't. Maybe bringing Rondon on before him was a little bit of an eye-opener, but maybe the manager felt that Rondon could put himself about a little bit more and was more suited to seeing that game out than Dominic Calvert-Lewin was. What I will say is I do think Frank Lampard will make changes tomorrow. He'll be forced to make a change in the centre of the defence because we know Yerry Mina's out, and I think he'll make a change in the midfield and the attack. Actually, I think he'll give a couple of players rest because obviously it's not been a week; it's been a matter of a couple of days. So I do think we'll see changes tomorrow. Same old Everton says not going to be easy, but let's just take the chance while it's there. Spots on. Eugene says, "Hi Sam, I think Everton will beat Watford 4-1 tomorrow." Ned says, "Was that you at Finch Farmland?" It was, and you were standing next to me. 4-1 into these tomorrow. Imagine it was 4-1. Imagine. I don't think you all understand the amount of rosé wine I will consume. And you know what? I'm not afraid to admit it. I like a bottle of rosé wine on the coach on the way to away games because it's fruity, it tastes nice, it tastes like juice, it gets you drunk, it doesn't give you hangovers, and it doesn't give you that bubbly sort of gassy, sickly feeling. It's just sound. And the amount of rosé wine I will consume tomorrow if Everton win 4-1 will be copious amounts. And if you followed me Twitter over the last couple of days, you'll know that I've been using a bit of pre-workout before going to the gym over the last couple of days, and that has made me feel like I can literally bench press the entirety of West Kirby. So add that with a bit of rosé wine, up the toffees. Nedja Butte says Smokey MacPot. There you go. Revenge for that 5-2 nonsense. Let's hope so. Tazul says we just have to be professional and do the job. They have so many players out. Should be a win. 3-0 to the Blues. We do. That's what we've got to do. As I said, that there can't be any arrogance. There can't be any sort of these are a shite. We'll batter these. It's just got to be professional. Get in there. Do a professional job. And if we do a professional job and we work hard and we give everything and we battle and we show that determination, that desire, that resilience and that structure defensively, then I do think we'll win this game without problem. I think our problem will come if we get a bit too ahead of ourselves. Everton must get payback on Ben Foster after his horrible fan view, says Eugene. Yeah, listen. It's ironic that Ben Foster come out and criticised Evertonians for their treatment of the players when he's coming out and making videos talking about funny things while his team are in a relegation battle and he's conceding 5 goals every week. But having said that, I actually don't mind Ben Foster. I think he seems quite a nice fella. Last of the Canadian says players need to keep the belief and we will win this. Yes, hopefully. Eugene says Everton pre-season USA tours confirmed. Yes, Everton will be travelling to Baltimore to face Arsenal and Minneapolis to face Minnesota in July. I think it's the 16th and the 20th or the 18th and no, it's the 16th and the 20th, I believe. I will be heading down to the USA, so if you're there or thereabout, then get on me. A win would be like a rocket, says Wonderlust. It would. Kevin says great idea. Cam laugh. Seen Mala Red Shites on telly. Oh, are they playing? Are they playing? I didn't even realise, mate. I've literally not long got back from the gym and was just sitting down. Oh, they're winning 2-1. Oh, they were getting beat as well. Oh well, fuck them. When Everton beat Watford away tomorrow night, it'll be a party time for the Everton fans, says Eugene. Harold says tomorrow is big. If we win, we'll definitely be in the driver's seat. We're in the driver's seat now. Our destiny is in our own hands now. If we are to go down from this position, it will be because we have thrown it. But you're absolutely right. If we win tomorrow, then it's a massive leap, as I said, towards safety. Let's not get too hype about it. Just be positive and be content with the win, says Gamba. Absolutely. I think we'll win, says Wonderlust. I think Everton needs 40 points to stay in the Premier League, says Eugene. Kevin says, wouldn't it be nice if we can go into Sunday's game at home knowing if we win we're safe and it's live on Sky 2? It would. It really, really would, and that would create the atmosphere, and that would create the, a sort of enjoyment, I think, to it. Tomorrow is absolutely massive. And Ned says Van der Beek out, so there you go. Listen, if you are enjoying, by the way, please hit that like button. It only takes a second if you're new to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. That would mean a massive amount to me. Anyway, let's get into my predicted starting 11s then. Starting 11. We're only playing one starting 11, obviously, so let's get into it. In goal, I'm going for Jordan Pickford. Pretty self-explanatory at this point, isn't it? The fella is absolutely world class. He's one of the best goalkeepers on the planet. He has single-handedly won us the last 2 games. Hopefully he won't be called into action to do that tomorrow, because hopefully Watford don't put that much pressure on us tomorrow. But I'm sure if he is called into action, I'm sure if he does have to make those saves, I'm sure if he does have to, pull one out the bag, I'm sure he will do that. So Jordan Pickford obviously starts in goal. Back line, I'm going for Vitaly Mykolenko at left back, Michael Keane and Mason Holgate at centre back, and Seamus Coleman at right back. Vitaly Mykolenko obviously went off with an injury against Leicester. The manager has confirmed today that it was just cramp, and he's back for the game tomorrow. He was absolutely excellent against Leicester. Obviously scored his first goal since joining Everton Football Club, and what a beauty that it was. And he's been fabulous for the last 4, 5, 6 weeks now. Vitaly Mykolenko has been absolutely unbelievable, so there's absolutely no surprise that he keeps his space. I thought Michael Keane was fantastic when he come on for Yerry Mina the other day as well, slotted in there nicely, took responsibility. As I said yesterday in the review, his facial expression, the camera zoomed in on him a couple of times, and you could see that he was concentrated, you could see that he was aware, you could see that he was in the game, and he seems to be a player playing with confidence at the moment. He seems to be a player who is enjoying his football, which is good to see, and again, he completely deserves his spot tomorrow. Not like there's anybody else really to go in there, because Ben Godfrey is still out. But as I said, Michael Keane was done really, really well against Leicester, and there's no reason why he shouldn't be in there tomorrow. Partnered with Mason Holgate, obviously scored the winning goal on Sunday, and obviously, as we said, he'd been ill, he'd not travelled with the team, he'd not trained for a couple of days, and he still wanted to play, still wanted to show that commitment, and he ended up popping up with the winning goal, which was great to see as well. So he is in there. Seamus Coleman as well. Obviously he made the mistake that led to the goal on Sunday. He can't afford to be doing that tomorrow, because ultimately we can't afford to be giving those types of chances away to any team really, but not to a team that, as I said, they've got nothing to play for, and no pressure on them. But there's, let's be honest, there's the other option, Joe Kenny. Now, I think Seamus, to be fair to him, I think he recovered quite well on Sunday. I think for the rest of the game he was okay, and I think he's been good for the last couple of weeks or so, barring that mistake. Into the midfield then, I am actually going to make a change. I'm going to go for Abdoulaye Doucouré, Alan, and Alex Iwobi, with Fabian Delph taken out. Now, I know a lot of people won't be happy with that, and it's not a change through me thinking that Fabian Delph wasn't particularly great, on Sunday, because I think he done the job that he needed to do. I think he done it relatively well. I think he worked hard. I think he battled. Look, he wasn't in control of the midfield, and that's because we weren't in control of the midfield, so that's absolutely no surprise. But he done what he needed to do, and he done it to a level that he needed to. He made a couple of good challenges. He put himself about. He worked hard. But the reality is Fabian Delph going to be able to do that twice in the space of 3 or 4 days? We know he's a player that struggled with injuries in the past. We know he's a player that struggled with fitness in the past. And we know that he's a player that Frank Lampard will be looking at to manage during this period of football. He said similar about Yerry Mina. Unfortunately, Yerry Mina has gone and picked up another injury. But Fabian Delph is another one that I think the manager will be looking at and thinking, right, we've got to manage. And given Alan hasn't had a lot of game time recently and has had a lot of rest time, I actually do think the manager will go with Doucouré and Alan as that partnership, with Fabian Delph on the bench, and then maybe bring Delph on towards the end of the game, and then have a view of obviously starting him on Sunday against Brentford. I wouldn't have no problem with Fabian Delph playing. I really wouldn't have no problem with Fabian Delph playing, but I just think we might see him rested tomorrow, because obviously of the game on Sunday, and then obviously the Brentford game this Sunday as well. Obviously Abdoulaye Doucouré in there. Thought he played well against Leicester. Thought the last couple of weeks or so he started to come back into his own. We started to see that Abdoulaye Doucouré of last season, where he was sort of at the top of his game. Should have scored against Leicester on Sunday, was unlucky, but if he'd have got a cleaner contact on it, I think it'd have been in the back of the net, and then we'd have been 2-0 up and absolutely flying. But yeah, he starts there. Alex Iwobi as well. I feel like Alex Iwobi is very much invincible in this team at the moment. Yes, there's an argument to give him a rest. Yes, there's an argument, for him to sort of be given a little bit of time out the team, because he's worked so hard recently. But the reality is we're still in a relegation battle, and as I said, tomorrow is monumental. If we win this tomorrow, then it's a massive step towards safety. So it's not really the game to be resting players and thinking, do you know what, we'll sort of take our foot off the gas for this one. I've done it with Delph, because I think Delph is one that if you don't give him that rest time, he will pull up with an injury and he will be a burden on the performance. I don't think Iwobi's that like that at all. I think Iwobi will be able to go out there, run his arse off for 90 minutes, work hard, battle, do what he's been doing and give everything. And as I said, he's been absolutely fantastic recently, and he absolutely deserves a space. And then the front three, I'm actually going with Anthony Gordon, Richarlison, and I'm going to put Dominic Calvert-Lewin in there. Now, that might be a little bit harsh for Demarai Gray. I think Demarai Gray's worked hard recently, albeit his output going forward hasn't been particularly great. Neither has Anthony Gordon's or Richarlison's. Really, Richarlison has been a bit more clinical, of course, but Anthony Gordon's output going forward hasn't been particularly great either. But the pair of them have worked really, really hard. That has to be said, and that, you know, Demarai Gray is included in that. But I just think we might see him given a rest tomorrow, and Anthony Gordon might be given a rest, but I just think the manager might go with something a bit different, try and utilise Dominic Calvert-Lewin's height and strength as a centre forward, and have Richarlison on, you know, one of the wings with Anthony Gordon on the other one, really running at Watford and causing them a problem and causing them an issue. As I said, don't get me wrong, it might be Gray, Gordon and Richarlison again, and I'd have no problem with that, absolutely no problem with that. But I've got this feeling that he'll start Dominic Calvert-Lewin and have Gordon and Richarlison either side of them, and then maybe bring Gray on with 20 minutes, half an hour to go, to just have that injection of pace. I just don't see Dominic Calvert-Lewin not starting another game before the end of the season. I don't see it, and he could be big tomorrow. He could score a header that wins us the game. So, yeah, you know, again, we'll wait and see. That is my predicted starting 11. Let us know your thoughts on it in the comments section down below. And yeah, that's pretty much it, isn't it? Massive game, massive opportunity to take a monumental step towards survival. I'm not going to say if we win tomorrow we'll survive, but it is a monumental step towards survival. And yeah, let's hope that we can go and do it. I'm going down to Vicarage Road, so hopefully, you know, the performance will be similar as to what it was on Sunday against Leicester. Hopefully it will be anyway, regardless of whether I'm there or not, because that's what we need it to be. I can't wait to get down there. The atmosphere, I know, will be booming. Everybody will be in a good mood. There's chanting, there's singing. I just can't wait. I absolutely cannot wait. It was great at Finch Farm today, as it was on Saturday, and hopefully the performance and the atmosphere tomorrow is as good as it was last Sunday. Because that's what we need, don't we? Let's be honest. It'll be a tough game. It'll be a difficult game, but one that I feel we should be winning, especially given that, you know, we've still got to give absolutely everything tomorrow. And I think if we do that, we'll beat this Watford team. But, you know, let's wait and see. If you have enjoyed this one, please do hit that like button. If you watched it as a YouTube video, leave your thoughts down below, and we'll get involved with as many of them as we can. If you've enjoyed the stream, please do hit the like button. It does only take a second. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. We'll be back obviously tomorrow with the instant match reaction and the player ratings. Probably be a little bit later because I'll have to get back on the coach and get home, but we'll try and get it out as soon as possible. And yeah, if you've enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Up the toffees. Let's hope for another big 3 points, another big away win. Let's hope so. 2 on the bounce. Bloody hell, 2 away wins on the bounce. How good would that be? Let's hope anyway. Big thanks for watching. Leave a like if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Up the toffees. And we'll see you after.